We are live. How's it going, everybody? All right, we're starting it off with like a Jason clip. Remember this Jason clip? See, Corey Feldman chopped off his hair, and then Jason got all confused. Like, hey, is that me? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but today we're going over who actually won the rematch, right? Who won Freddy versus Jason? So when I put the countdown, we'll start it all together. All right, because that's like the best Jason movie, right? Like Friday the 13th Part 4. I always go either Part 4 or Part 6. And since last week I did Michael Myers versus Jason, it's pretty natural to see who'll win Freddy versus Jason. Even though it already happened, we could just talk about who really won. And they have a couple of versus movies coming out now. Like we have Godzilla versus King Kong coming up, dude. See, like versus movies are back. So, and they're also, because of Freddy versus Jason, they're also making very much sure that one will fall. Like someone's got to live and somebody's got to die. Oh, why is there? Oh, man. I have a damn brand from, it still says, all right, here you go. No, it's not supposed to say Michael versus Jason. That was last week. Wait a minute. Shit. All right, wait, hold up. How did I change that to begin with? All right, but we haven't started Freddy versus Jason yet, so we'll get to it. Oh, shoot. Right here. How did I change what it said? Default block. It's not Michael versus Jason, dude. Well, whatever. And it's not even Godzilla versus Kong. I was just showing that there's a Godzilla versus Kong. All right, but we're 2 minutes in, so let's get going. All right, Freddy versus Jason. All right, we all got 2 people here. Cool. So then we can even start it from right now. Do a countdown, and then after the countdown, that's when you can start it. Well, I could talk during the countdown too. That'll give me a chance to cue it up, man. Because I bought it, dude. Like Freddy versus Jason's pretty much must own. I even remember, like, I got the bootleg copy way back when it was in theaters. Oh man, I was super psyched for this movie. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Dun, 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 dun. So now you get the whole like New Line Cinema, the red and everything, because everyone says that Freddy vs. Jason was mostly pretty much like a Freddy movie. Oh man, I remember, and this is like one of the first and only times you see Robert Englund's face. Well, you see his face a little bit in Freddy's Dead, and then you see it at the beginning of this. And what I think even the Freddy TV show, you didn't see his face too much. Oh man, they burned Freddy Krueger alive. Well, you had it coming, dude. You were a child molester. Right? It's supposed to be child murder or child molester. And dude, the look of Freddy Krueger was so cool too. You're like, man, why couldn't they do more of that look like in the other movies? Because Freddy had like the best looks out of this. He was like Demon Freddy. He was like he had the like demon teeth in him and everything. Yeah, it was great. See, they're really introducing you to Freddy Krueger a little bit more because Jason's gonna do like all the legwork pretty much. That's why people go like Freddy versus Jason. Jason did all the heavy lifting because Jason killed more people because Freddy could kill you really quick if you just get inside a dream. He just could get you real quick, but he doesn't do that. He wants to play around with you, and it's we learn now that fears is like the thing that gives him power. So nobody was afraid of him anymore. And they did write like 5, 6, like I heard there's up to like 12, 15 scripts for Freddy versus Jason. Oh yeah, we got a boob shot right at the beginning too. Oh man, you're totally missing out. So Freddy could dream boobs anytime he wants. Oh, and you get butt. You get butt and boobs right off the bat. They know where their bread's buttered. Ooh, Jason. So basically, Jason is hunting people, and this is like maybe Jason's version of hell, right? You gotta think this is like Jason's version of hell. Like, but why would hell even treat Jason that bad? Like, he sent so many people down there. He's probably like, all right, dude, this is like heaven for you. This is like heaven for Jason. He just goes and constantly hunts people and kills them and have a good old time. So hell would be a good version, a good like heaven for Jason, if that makes sense. Because what's he doing here? He's they're in hell right now, right? Like this would make sense if you see Pinhead pop up in this like scene because this is hell. Because Pinhead was supposed to be in like the original, I think like original script. Pinhead was supposed to come out and take them both down to hell, and they just couldn't like get Clive Barker or whoever owned the rights to Pinhead. Like, and nobody wants to be made a fool. That's why even go Godzilla versus Kong, they'll probably go end up being like a draw. Like, I think the point of this was a draw, but I don't know, man. I think Jason pretty much won. Right? He was intact. How do you win if you weren't intact? Like Freddy was just ahead, but he winked like, nah, I'm still kicking, but you're ahead. Ooh, dope kill. And I heard they tried to get the actress Pamela the who played Pamela Voorhees for this movie, but she was very sick, or I think she almost died around here. I don't know. I didn't research it. And they used a different actor for Jason too. He can't die. He can never die. So he's more of like an X-Men, a mutant. He would be a good matchup with Wolverine, right? Because he never sort of dies and he regenerates. So see, so Jason's soul is in hell. His body sort of still on Earth, but if he gets like super pissed, that's how he gets resurrected or something like that. Because Jason was dead, like, because after I think you gotta go with the timeline where Jason is. Like, he's dead, but this is also before like Jason X. What a cool look for Freddy, dude. So Freddy could basically he's in hell and he's like I scoured the realms of hell until I finally found somebody and you landed on Jason and now you're sort of like friends. That's why it's a good versus movie too. Like they started off pretty much as friends and then they ended up being enemies. Like that's the best fights. Like, oh, I forgot. Like Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson, they were on the same like Olympic team and everything, and they ended up being like pretty good rivals. No, and Evander Holyfield, like, the best enemies or the best fights. You start off as friends. Like Alien versus Predator, they were not friends. That's right, baby. Wolverine would be a good match. They both maybe they can even write that into the script. Like it could be you're right. Like Jason is sort of like an X-Men and he has like mutant powers. And that's why he was able to come back from the dead, right? I would totally buy that. Jason could be an X-Men and then could just cross all that shit over, right? Because he regenerates. You chop off Jason's arm or fingers, he'll come back to life. Hey, what's up, Friday Jason? We're watching you versus Freddy right now. And we're 8 minutes and 4 seconds in. What you need is a lobotomy. That's where we're at. I like it where they're, and these characters are cool too, man. I like these characters. I saw a death match with Freddy versus Jason. Oh man. Oh yeah, like celebrity death match, like back in the day. Dude, you totally deserve a rematch. Thank you, Jason, for coming by. That's fair. We have a special guest in the chat. Is Jason Voorhees. Jason. Who do you think won, Jason? I think you sort of won because you were intact and you were carrying his head. Yeah, of course you won. Of course. Because I think you all right, you chopped off Freddy's head and then you were carrying it coming out of the lake, right? So of course I think you won, but they didn't want to make Freddy look like a bitch like he lost. Like, cause they both have to agree, like, all right, man, we both got to save face. So you might as well like I'll wink and then everyone will think like I still hold the puppet strings and stuff like that, right? Or where did you take Freddy's head when you were done? Were you guys both in hell at the end? Let me know. Well, to be honest, it was a fan made trailer. Oh man. So you never faced Freddy in real life? Oh man. Well, I bet you did. Come on, Fred. Come on, Jason. So were you really like? I think so. For Jason's motivation was to just kill people, but did Freddy Sore even like Google Maps him like in the direction like go to my old house, dude? Go. Did he just drop him off in Springwood? Because look, Jason's body's way over in the New Jersey or something like that. He probably was like, "No, dude, try to get all the way down to Springwood and go down to this house." I saw a fight with Freddy versus Wolverine. Oh no way! Really? Maybe it was like oh, you mean a fan made trailer? I thought you meant the movie was a fan made trailer. Jay said, "I'm sorry for the confusion." And Freddy versus Wolverine, that's cool because they almost have like the same sort of weapons, right? Finger knives versus claws. And oh, you know what? They also weren't born with it either. Like someone had to put the antimanium inside Wolverine, and somebody had to give Freddy the dream powers. So I don't know. But they could definitely cross over all that stuff. I would just buy it that Freddy is a X-Men too. Like, you're right. Like, they never explain, like, who the fuck are the Dream Demons? They tried to explain that a little bit in Freddy versus Jason, and they just went, we chose him because I guess he seemed like a good fit for us. because Freddy seemed like I want it all and open up and we will, and then he absorbed those dream demons. So he's sort of like, oh, you guys finally showed up because what? Like he was waiting to die. They never even explained that either. I would like maybe a prequel show like a little bit like prequel sequel a Freddy film where you get like part prequel like dude how'd he get the dream powers, or you could do the whole thing in hell, right? Cross over everything. I think because right now we're too focused on one-on-one matchups, right? Like Kong versus Godzilla, Freddy versus Jason. Let's just do, you're in hell, anything could happen. I think anything could happen in a Freddy dream too. You're like, dude, my super power, my dream warrior power is on Wolverine. If that's on YouTube, I'll definitely cover that. I still think Freddy won. Jason had help. What you think? Oh, because assist? No. Freddy needed Jason, I think. I think Freddy might have. Freddy could win in some. You know what? It's almost like Jason probably won, but it's by split decision. And I could see how someone else would give it to Freddy, though. Right? Because that's what they're doing. They're like, ooh, Jason won because he came out the lake first. But then he was. What? Oh, I'm sorry. There was some nudity with the girls showering. So anytime there's nudity, it's almost like I just paused for a second, lost track of thought. Sorry. Yeah, Freddy did have help. I mean, Jason did have help, but they were just trying to make it fair because that's not fair. Like, Freddy could just fuck you up inside the dream, you know? All right, right here, we're at one of the best kills in the movie. Oh, that's where Jason just folded a dude in half. But I could see how you think Freddy won. Oh shit! Wait, hold up. Oh, what the? No, Kane Hunter was the fan made trailer I saw with Freddy versus Jason. Oh, way back in the day. Yeah, they were going to have. I thought Kane Hodder wanted to do this Freddy versus Jason, but I think Freddy and Jason were around the same height. So you're like, dude, that sucks. Because they want Jason to be big, you know, like, oh shit, like almost like Rocky Four. You know how the Russian was so much bigger than the dude? See, so that's how they covered up Freddy, dude. They just went, nobody speaks his goddamn name. Well, that's very cool that Kane Hodder got an opportunity because I know he's been holding down the Jason flag for a long time. He's the guy who was like, you go to a convention, he's always going to be there as Jason. And, you know, signing autograph and kissing babies. He politicked his way to being like the best known Jason. Like this Jason's actually in a couple other things. I forget this guy's name, but yeah. But I think you know, this Jason was a bit taller, like a bit more scary and intimidating. Like whenever you think of Jason, I always think of someone like really, really tall, you know? Like I don't think Kane Hodder's that tall. I think he's about like 6'1" or something, but someone like 6'6" or 6'7", like this Jason is like pretty scary. But Jason's almost like unnaturally, like supernaturally strong. So it doesn't make it, you know, he doesn't have to look like the Hulk to be as strong as the Hulk. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, he had help. I think so. I saw the death battle and Wolverine won. Yeah, dude, right? Because probably, and it's not even fair. It's probably almost like the same thing. Freddy would take Wolverine inside the dream and try to kill Wolverine over and over. And he's just like, why won't you die? Same thing what he did with Jason. But I don't know. I even saw in the comic book like Magneto fucked up Wolverine, just took his skeleton right out of him. And, he was just like a whole bunch of just like, you know, uh, garbage bag full of meat and everything. But I think, after that, Wolverine will still probably regenerate. So this is the very first Freddy nightmare. So it's like the little girl. It's very cool that they kept the little girl like in all of the movies. Because like the whole thing was there was a little girl in most of the movies, like, jumping rope and singing the Freddy Krueger song. And you're always like, well, what's the point of that? But then by Freddy, it's very cool. The reveal was Freddy actually had a daughter. So it did make sense in the end, but it's very cool that even after Freddy's dead, they kept it going. Because little girls are just scarier. I don't know why. Like little girl ghost in The Shining, scarier. No, little boy ghosts don't scare people as much, I guess. I saw a video that showed a different ending that would have had Jason and Friday in hell, and they would have met Pinhead. Yeah, dude. It was a comic book too. I think Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. They had a comic book. Oh, I would love that. If I get that comic book, I will post it here or something. Or somebody should make. Dude, they make all these animated movies out of Batman and everything. Give us Freddy versus Jason versus Ash animated movie by now, right? We can totally do that. And I think the ending for that was that Pinhead was going to show up and take him down the hill. And even that would set up like, oh man, they're going to have like a triple threat match or whatever. But yeah, I saw that too, that they were planning on doing that in the future. It might have been on that Never Sleep Again documentary, which is a great documentary. I watch that at least like once a year. And they just go well like in depth with all the Freddy Krueger movies. It's great. They also have a Jason Voorhees one, Crystal Lake Memories. Yeah. That's right now Jason is killing this guy and his dad. So basically Jason's kill count up to this point is about to be 3, right? So, yeah. And Freddy done. Because Freddy actually pops up here and he tries to poke at him with his finger claws, and it's still sort of like, oh, I'm not strong enough yet. Yeah, we're right at that point. But was Freddy really going for the kill right then and there? That was a pretty fast kill attempt then, right? Like he just, hey, you, rah! So who knows if Freddy was actually going for the kill, because Freddy never gone for the kill that fucking quick. That was like he just comes up on the scene to just stabs you. You right? Like, you know what they should do? A Freddy Krueger movie where Freddy has like 25 kill count or something like that, right? Like a lot of those sort of kills where people can't even go to sleep for a second. Freddy doesn't fuck around. So the guy actually put up the head and he sliced the head, but I guess he sliced through both of them. I want to ask you, how would it be like if Freddy instead picked Michael Myers, and how would the movie be like? Oh, if Freddy picked Michael Myers, yeah, because Freddy could have picked anybody at that point. But Michael Myers, it would have to be Michael Myers goes down the Springwood. I don't think he's that strong, too. And well, Michael drives a car, so that makes sense. And like Freddy would be like, Michael, grab yourself a car and come down here. Jason could have, he hopped on a train or something. I don't know. Or just his body came up from the ground from hell and was just in Springwood makes sense too. But oh man, that's a good question. If Michael Myers, if it was just Michael Myers versus Freddy, I would imagine they would have made it with like Laurie and stuff, and it's the same thing that Freddy. They it's a conspiracy to hold back Freddy Krueger, and they make sure to like have a quarantine. Like all these people are anybody who knows about Freddy's quarantined. Oh man, how would it be? Mostly the same, but Freddy would have killed Michael way easier, right? Because we still like Michael's very much human. So that's why Jason's more of a fair fight than Michael Myers. Ah, yeah, I know. I thought you meant Friday the 13th. That's what. Because Michael Myers, yeah, he's not a zombie like Jason. So, well, yeah, that's my point. So it's sort of like Jason can't die, so Freddy's like shook. But Freddy knows. Freddy did do any fucking research to pick Jason. He should have picked Michael because when people start getting killed and the police would have shot Michael, then that's it. Then Freddy'd be like, all right, but nobody could have stopped Jason besides Freddy. So yeah, Jason's just a way better matchup for Freddy. You know, who's a good matchup for Freddy too? Like probably like Pennywise. Like you have to have two supernatural beings versus each other. I still say probably Jason versus Michael Myers is pretty good too because they're almost like mirror images of each other. Or you can even go like this Michael Myers is actually more stronger and more supernatural because the strongest probably Michael Myers was part 6, but he still wasn't as strong as Jason in Jason part 6. Yeah. Oh yeah. See, I still have the branding from last week. Let me see if I could change that real quick. I actually picture Freddy disguised himself as the cult leader from Halloween 6 and would tell Michael that Laurie was in Springwood. Oh, that's pretty good. I bet someone already wrote a fan fiction about that already. Damn, how do I change that? Maybe I gotta change I'll change a banner here. Well, there you go. That solved that problem. All right, we're 24-42 in. I wanted to see like what would happen right after this because they were making a Freddy versus Jason 2 for a while. Like, dude, because this made more money than either Freddy movie or Jason movie. So it's like the box office just dictated they should have a rematch. It's almost like Oscar De La Hoya versus Mayweather or Pacquiao versus Mayweather. Like the box office was so huge. I know they were trying to set up a rematch for a while, but just for because of reasons, it just never happened. But that's why, like, I don't know, man. Back then, like, for a while, like, reboots couldn't even get off the ground. Like, you just did a reboot and that was it. Like, because they did with Halloween 2018, they actually have that sort of like remake sequel. Like, all right, we're just going to remake what we would have done for a part 2. And that's the way to go because, you know, right now there's Halloween and Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. So I don't know. Or like Kong versus Godzilla. It seems like that won't even be like a one and done. Like maybe one of them wins and then they meet somebody else in another movie, but then they have like a rematch. You know what I'm talking about? Or I don't know. Well, I'll break down the trailer whenever it comes out. Hey, you should watch the Nightmare and watch the Nightmare Ends on Halloween. It's really good, and it has Michael, Freddy, and Pennant, and Jason and Leatherface, and there's also part two. Whoa, that seems cool. I'm totally down for that. But you think it gets a little bit messy when people add so many characters in there? Like Freddy versus Jason versus Michael versus Leatherface, and yeah. And anytime you put Leatherface inside like a versus battle, you just go like, well, is his family there too? And this girl in the red hat, she's supposed to be almost like an alcoholic of the group, but she's too skinny to be the alcoholic of the group. But you know what? You're in high school and you could drink a lot and you won't gain weight, so good for her. But I do like these characters, man. She was very cool. I liked her. Like she's the final girl of it. And I the backstory of her, like the dad actually didn't kill the mom and the guy went crazy. I don't know. I was sort of confused by the whole like subplot they had about the Freddy Krueger house. So Freddy Krueger did actually kill her mom. So Freddy was still the bad guy and the dad wasn't that evil. But the dad was sort of evil because he locked everybody away. So I don't know, man. I didn't get the point of that. Like he's evil because he quarantined them. I mean, kids, it sucks, but he did the right thing. That's that shine. You know what they did with Freddy versus Jason? That is that Chinese quarantine. Like in China, that's why they got the COVID virus under control. They went, hey man, you got the COVID. We are sealing you inside your apartment or something like that. You ain't going anywhere. That's what they did with Freddy Krueger in Springwood. They went, you know about Freddy Krueger? We are taking you out of there, brainwashing you, and you're going to live here the rest of your life. I mean, it worked. And you know what? And back then they didn't have social media either. I wonder what they could do with like, right? If Freddy needs fear to be alive and to grow, what could he do with social media? Right? That's crazy. They didn't even really have that in 2010. In 2010, Nightmare on Elm Street movie, they sort of hinted at that. Like a guy was doing like vlog post of his Nightmare on Elm Street experience with dealing with Freddy Krueger, but you never went that deep about how he could have spread the Freddy Krueger word. Yeah, I believe the sequel for Freddy versus Jason would have had them fight in their reboot selves. That would be cool. I'm totally down for that too. Any sort of rematch would have been cool. But it's sort of been weird because um maybe I buy that. But that's almost like not even a rematch, like they're almost facing off again. Because to me, when you do a remake or like a reboot, you're sort of like starting over again. You're saying everything before that reboot didn't matter. So even the first matchup didn't matter. But if they just use the same actors as the first one, I'm down with that too. Oh yeah. One, two, Freddy's coming for you. And then he's like, his name is Freddy Krueger. He fucked up, man. He's the one who spread all the fear. You know what? That's why you got to side with the police on this. They did the right thing. Freddy Krueger was totally like these kids are really mad that they're blocked out obituaries and they got Freddy Krueger under control. But dude, you can't argue with results. Jason goes to Texas, right? Right, baby. It could be Jason Voorhees versus Leatherface. That'd be cool. He went to fucking Manhattan, but he took a boat to Manhattan, babe. He didn't. I don't know, man. Maybe he could road trip all the way down to Texas. It makes more sense for probably Leatherface to go up to Jason than Leatherface go to him. You know what I'm talking about? Like he could like hitchhike or get on a train, or he could do one of those things. But yeah, Jason and the versus Leatherface would be pretty cool. I would like that too. But see, Michael Myers is a better versus for Leatherface because they're both sort of human, so that they make good sense. So I would say Jason beats Leatherface 9 out of 10 times. But Leatherface has a chainsaw. Yes, a company takes him. Oh, okay. All right, that makes sense. Out of Crystal Lake to build something. I'm down for that. Kids are gonna start falling asleep. Yeah, you fucked up, man. Like basically, this guy did all the marketing for Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger's like, I need some marketing to get my word out there and everything. That's why I got Jason in the fucking first place. And now it's sort of like all you gotta do is scare a couple of people, get these two numbskulls to get out of that hospital and spread the word. So yeah, dude, Freddy Krueger could have spread so much easier. All he had to do was like buy Facebook ads now. Buy Facebook ads and target the audience on people who fall asleep. And then he could spread fear and make people believe in him again. I should write a goddamn Freddy Krueger movie. There you go. That's how I'll pitch it. I'll be like, listen, all right, Freddy's gonna use social media to spread fear, and he don't even need to get Jason involved anymore. Jason figured out how to use Facebook ads, and it's relevant to the election and all that shit. And boom, piles of money. There's a comic where Jason and Leatherface fight, and in the beginning, I guess beginning, Jason feels sorry for. Oh man, I don't like that. Jason's not supposed to feel sorry for anybody. Like I think sometimes when they do verses, they make one person sympathetic and the other person the villain, right? Like they would do that with like matchups like babyface versus babyface, like Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior. Like the crowd will eventually boo one guy. Like you root for one guy to get it more than the other. But yeah, I'm down for even more comic books with more sequels and stuff like that. But people are always saying you can't do anything Friday the 13th because of this fucking lawsuit. But the lawsuit is sort of like I heard it's done like that. The original writer won. But I guess everyone's sort of bummed because he didn't do anything with Jason. He didn't build Jason up to where he is now. That was Sean Cunningham. But basically the other guy won all the lawsuits so far. So I think as fans, we want the other guy to win just so it could like the other writer doesn't have a track record of doing anything with Jason, if that makes sense. But also Sean Cunningham also had a good run at it for whatever it was, 35 years or something, and now it's sort of dead. So I don't know. But I also count Friday the 13th franchise being the video game as well. So if you have a video game out, that's franchise, dude. Franchise is not just books, movies, it's music, it's podcasts, it's everything. So basically, the name of Jason is still kept relevant because he made a fucking video game. And then he was in Mortal Kombat, and you could throw him in Fortnite and all this other shit. You could do a whole bunch with him. But everyone's doing a good job about keeping people relevant. And people still want a Freddy Krueger movie and a Jason movie. And it's been 10 fucking years since either of them. So, yeah, dude, it's time. We're on a dry one for both of these guys. I do want to ask you if there was a short film where child Jason met his future self. I don't think so. I'm not sure. You see, this whole dad plot is so confusing. So basically, he's saying that I saw your dad kill your mom, but then Freddy is shown later that it was Freddy Krueger. So he was right. So maybe that's the whole thing behind this. Like, yeah, the parents were right to block out and quarantine these kids who knew about Freddy Krueger because it worked. And these kids messed up a good thing. Oh, this guy's mad at his ex girlfriend for drinking because he's dead. Drink is part of the mourning process, dude. I drink when I mourn. He was supposed to. That's sort of like the jerk boyfriend who got killed, like right at the beginning. Ashy Slashy, what's up, dude? How's it going? Just watch us on Freddy versus Jason. We're about 37 minutes in. We're at the cornfield part of the movie. I know I sort of didn't link it up to where what time it is at the bottom pretty much, but I did a countdown. So after the countdown, that's where he started. So they're at the corn silo, and this is like Freddy Krueger's like first kill. I like it. You think they made her wear a red hat because of maybe Carrie, right? Carrie, the girl in the red hat. You just go like, oh yeah, it's the girl with the red hat. Now it would say "Make America Great Again." It's so weird to have a red hat nowadays. He ruined red hats for everybody. You know, if they had Jason in New Call of Duty like they did with Michael Myers, dude, I remember that. I remember they added Michael Myers to a Call of Duty, and I was hopefully they were going to keep that going. But then Call of Duty Ghosts sucked besides that. So they didn't do that at all. So, because they did one map with Michael Myers, and then the next map they did Predator, and then you're like, oh, that's cool. And then the next game to come out, they just dropped that whole concept. Because it's a very good concept. It was like a shooter involved with like a main boogeyman. Oh, this is so cool. You finally see Freddy Krueger inside of a boiler room. And see, like, I think with the girls, he's like, it's a sexual thing with Freddy. Like, he taunts them and makes sure they get nice and afraid. Oh, just iconic, man. Like, you have to have Freddy Krueger in the boiler room. It's nice and it's red. The director really did a good job with like the cinematography and the feel of it. And the lines were good. I don't know, man. It's a very underrated sequel. It's probably the best versus movie. I said it. Like, think about it. If you have to rank all the versus movies, like, what do you have? Batman versus Superman. You got Godzilla versus Kong, Alien versus Predator, Kramer versus Kramer. I don't know, dude. Like, you got all those. But what's the best versus movie? It's got to be Freddy versus Jason. Because it was like true to like a Nightmare on Elm Street feel. It probably had more of a Nightmare on Elm Street feel than a Jason movie feel. But I don't know, man. I grew up more of a Freddy Krueger fan, so I was actually rooting for Freddy Krueger to beat Jason. But that's why, like, dude, when I say Jason won, it's not even, it's being like partial. Like, I mean, like, I'm trying to call it right down the middle. You call it right down the middle, I think you gotta say that Jason won. I like I liked Freddy Krueger movies more, especially when this came out. I was like, come on, man, Freddy. And this didn't disappoint either. Like, I was very satisfied when this came out. I saw this in theaters like 3 times or something. Oh, that's such a cool kill too. Do you know what kind of timing Jason has to have right there, where he had to kill the girl right before Freddy could get his final death blow? I mean that's your own fault, Freddy, because you waited forever to kill her. With that one dude, he just woke up like, "Hey, dude, rah, I'll try to kill you." You just waited too long, dude. That was your bad. Let's see. You know, if they had Jason, oh yeah, yeah. Actually, this might sound stupid and dumb, but what if Michael versus Chucky? That's a good matchup too. Isn't it cool seeing what Jason versus these two kids too? Like, you were invited. Cool. Awesome kill. I love it. And what are these kids drinking that they poured all over Jason? Like, absolute, they're just drinking straight moonshine. That shit is, they're straight up drinking gas. Like, I think even if you poured a Bacardi 151 on Jason, he wouldn't light up like that. Like, holy shit. Was Jason like already full of alcohol or something like that? Like, Jason does not give a fuck. He's on fire either. Like, not, oh my God, I'm on fire. Nothing. And his machete even caught on fire. So I don't know what these kids were drinking. Throwing the machete on fire through that kid, too. Jason has the best kills in this. So that's why it's like, if you rank it by who has the best kills, yeah, it's Jason. Jason has some awesome kills in this. He probably has more better kills in this one than the reboot, because a lot of them weren't even as creative as this one. Like, he's on fire and hitting people and shit. Nice. And then you're right. The beer puts out Jason's fire is pretty cool. Hey, what about Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys? Oh man, that's good. Like Puppet Master versus Annabelle would be cool. See, but I don't think they would ever face, because like Puppet Master's almost like sea level boogeyman. Like, right? Like your prime mainline boogeyman, like your level A's are probably, it's Michael Myers, Freddy, and Jason, right? And people, it's all subjective, but you could get like, your B squad is probably, that's where you might even put your Chucky, because anybody who's ever had a straight to DVD like release, then you automatically, you're like in the B category. A Puppet Master has lived on like straight to VOD. That's why Pinhead's probably down in like B or C level too. And I think you could, maybe Leatherface is up there with the A's because he never went to straight to VOD, Like Pennywise is probably level A because he just box office and stuff, right? So I don't know. It's very hard to determine who's probably on A, but Puppet, you have to almost be on equal footing for like a versus match to make sense. You know what I'm talking about? Like, that's why even like Chucky versus Michael, it's sort of not even fair. Like, man, I'm a level A. Who are you? Like, two B players can actually face each other, and if they win, you get promoted to an A movie. Hey, Vaughn Chambers, what's going on, dude? I'm kicking it with Ashy Slash. He said you are a badass. Thanks, Vaughn. Oh, that's very cool. You kicking it, watching this. I hope you turn on Freddy versus Jason and watch it along, because we're 45 minutes and 50 seconds in. And I would be like, oh man, it's on Netflix or it's on Hulu or something like that. But man, I don't know. You should just buy Freddy versus Jason. You have iTunes or Amazon Prime or wherever you buy your movies, you should have already been bought Freddy versus Jason. It's probably almost like, I would even rank it like third in the Nightmare series, right? Probably like third as well, and the Jason movies. Wait a minute, I just thought something. Maybe a Jason versus Michael could work. I mean, Tommy Jarvis was in the institute, and his doctor could be Lubis. Dude, that a lot of crossovers are possible with all that. And it's weird if they would have like the other characters in it, or they introduce new characters, because they introduced new characters into this one, but they didn't go back like, let's bring in Nancy and whatever the fuck happened to Alice. She was the dream master, and you're supposed to hold it down and protect people from Freddy Krueger, and she just what fucking moved. Like, at least like give us a tombstone or something. See, because Freddy versus Jason was sort of built just for people who know about Freddy versus Jason, and it's for diehard fans and not for diehard fans. You know what I'm talking about? Because they introduced back Hypnocell, and you know that Hypnocell was in Dream Warriors. And it's so weird that they didn't have Hypnocell in the other sequels. You're like, whoa, they have a solution to Freddy? You just take this pill and you don't dream anymore? Like, holy shit, that's so easy to defeat then. Like, we just need some of those drugs. Like, you can't take a drug and defeat Jason. Maybe if you get meth, you get meth and run real quick, or get on some roids so you can run without stopping and get away from Jason. More power to you. But yeah, Jason, you could sort of get away from. Like Freddy, I think you're marked. I want to get into that. Like, I think because Freddy's Dead had the rules that you had to be in Springwood for Freddy to get you, though. So if you knew about Freddy, you could leave town, and then he'd be like, ah, shit, you know about me, but you're out of Springwood. So it's like, I want to know if someone could actually, like, maybe like they go to Florida, or they get on a plane and he's actually like getting out, and then like Freddy gets you. Ooh, or Gremlins versus Critters. That is a good matchup. But even Gremlins is probably level. They didn't go video on demand, and Critters have lived on video on demand. And I gotta be honest, Ash, I haven't even seen all the Critters, but I have seen all the Gremlins. But it's very easy to do with Gremlins because there's just two, and Critters has like six. I don't even know. It's one of those series that you just go, I'll check it out someday. I'll still get around to it. Here we go. We're at where Freddy's first victim, his first legit victim is. And it's such a cool dream, too. Like, Freddy's actually going back and trying to kill some legacy guys. Like, that's what I think Michael's going to do in Halloween Kills. Quote me on that. I'm mostly right on most of my theories. I'm surprised. Yeah, Freddy versus Pinhead would be a cool movie. It was supposed to be sort of maybe like the sequel. And could work. Oh yeah, Freddy versus Pinhead would definitely work because they're both in hell, and Pinhead runs hell. So anybody who goes to hell could face Pinhead. And you know what? You could just have the whole movie take place in hell. I'm not mad at that. Maybe Satan could be like, all right, whoever wins, I'll give you guys a shot, right? Like Devil Games. Yeah, I remember the Freddy versus. Yeah, we already talked about Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. That's very cool, and I hope to even like read it one day. I'm still looking for. Man, I'm just gonna go on Amazon and buy it. It's probably cheap. That hockey puck. I like it that, and it has some funny lines in it, man. Like, this is what slashers don't like. People even complain like, "Oh man, Halloween 2018 was funny." Like, yeah, it should be funny. Like, this was a little bit funny too. Like, man, dude, that goalie was pissed. I love that line. And see, look, like, I think that guy's like a bit awake too. Like, man, if you only had to stay awake for like a weekend, yeah, I would just take some drugs. Yeah, because the solution is Hypnocell, and Hypnocell, sort of stops dreams. But if you don't sleep, you can't. Freddy don't get you. That could be a thing too, like Freddy versus tweakers. You never fall asleep. If you don't fall asleep, Freddy can't get you. If you tweak, you could tweak enough to don't fall asleep in like your hometown. And how big is Springwood? Like, I don't know, man. Like, is it as big as like Los Angeles or something like that? Because, or you just mean like it's the surrounding area? Because if it's just Springwood, like you could just be like, all right, Freddie could only stay in Los Angeles, but I'm going to go to sleep in Torrance or something like that, Pasadena. Yeah, just go like, uh, uh, one city over and he can't fuck with you anymore. The demon Freddy before he gets pulled into the real world looks amazing. Yes. That's the best look that Freddy had. Like, whoa, he's super pissed. So you just fucked with the wrong Freddy. Like, he's gonna chew you a new asshole. You're like, yeah, that was definitely like a new look for Freddy that was really scary. Like, that's why the reboot didn't work. The reboot, Freddy Krueger looked like Michael Jackson burnt victim or something like that. It was weird because they're like, let's go authentic with it. And when they actually did demonic look like Demon Freddy, it was actually like, whoa, that's something new and crazy and will haunt your dreams. I love it. Yeah, these officers don't play around. They said they'll lock you up. And they're right. I mean, come on, man. A lot of these cops probably had kids and their kids died, and they're actually probably like, I wonder how it's pretty impressive that they locked it down, like all these murders. They kept all the journalism out and shut off the social media and well, they didn't have social. I think they had MySpace back then, maybe, or Friendster, or one of these like old social platforms. I think it was before Facebook, most definitely. I want to see New Nightmares Freddy versus Jason because to me they look more badass and upgraded. Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Like Uber Jason was very cool. Yeah, how'd you know we were here? Yeah, the Scooby Van out back isn't, yeah, subtle. That's great. I like that guy's character too. Like the cop was actually helping them out. Like I thought the script was pretty solid. And it's very cool. That's Jason Ritter's son, right? The guy from Three's Company. He hasn't done anything since, but and that officer was the scary movie guy. So yeah, it's very cool. It had a good cast. I don't know. Freddy versus Jason was just very very good. I loved it. It doesn't get as much love as it should. I want to know if Hanfield or Springwood or Crystal Lake is bigger from the different movies. Yeah, you never quite know how big any of these cities are. Like there's indescriptive, like they're as big as the script needs them to be. You know what I'm talking about? Freddy died by fire, Jason by water. How can we use that? What? Hit him with a fire hose? I don't know. See, but Jason doesn't really like care about the water as much. He's gone into water. Like they chained him up and he was at the bottom of the lake in part 6, so I don't know. Freddy by fire, Freddy doesn't seem to be afraid of anything. Ooh, Kelly Rowland, you got a dirty mouth on you. Well, she's all flirting with him. Actually, to me, the cop, the new Jason, felt like Tommy Jarvis, which I wish it was him undercover, or maybe a different name. Yeah, that's true. They could have added one of these like legacy characters, like, but it was sort of like Springwood and everything. And if they had a rematch, it would make more sense because they're in Crystal Lake, and maybe then that's when you get Jason's like legacy character showing up. Yeah, I like that. I pulled that out of my dream. How's that possible? Anything's possible, dude. Yeah, that's right. It's not their sleep that's killing us, it's our dreams. So if you go to sleep, you die. So I don't know. You know what? Is hypnosil for real? There's probably a drug like that. There's a shit ton of drugs. Maybe there's a drug that will suppress your dreams. Yeah, go get those pills. Yeah, they go all the way to Western Hills to get the dream drug and everything. But man, if you need any drugs, you got to go. Just go to Mexico. But it's Ohio, maybe Canada, right? So they figure there's probably a dream suppressant drug, but I don't think there's any sort of like drug that could do that. Yeah, I think I've googled that before. To me, Freddy versus Jason kind of looked like Final Destination. Oh, okay, maybe. But you know what? Like it was directed by Ronnie Yu, and Ronnie Yu also did Bride of Chucky, which was pretty good too, man. I like Bride of Chucky. Like it had that same sort of feel and same humor, but I would say Bride of Chucky it went overboard with the humor. Like they're having sex and smoking weed, and Chucky's, and it's I don't know, it's different. Or you know what? This is a part that they don't really use that often because Freddy possesses I don't know what his name is. Yeah, the guy looks like Jay from Jay and Silent Bob, you know? The stoner kid. They sort of he possesses him and then does like Freddy Krueger's like bidding, but Freddy never uses that trick besides that. I don't know. That's something they could do. Like I used as a kid, I love Freddy Krueger to no end. Like that was the first like boogeyman that really got me into horror movies. And I don't know, I just like Freddy Krueger just gets me like going. Like it makes me think like, wow, what if they do this? Or you could do a dream sequence like that. Or Freddy could almost do like anything on screen. Like Jason's very limited. Like he could kill people and he's inventive with the ways he kills people, like real quick and inventive. Like I'll fold you in half and all that. But Freddy Krueger could pretty much do anything. And I used to write fan fiction for Freddy Krueger just because of that. And it's very cool, like find out new ways how to sort of how you explain the deaths. Like in the first movie, sort of like Tina got killed, so he made it look like Rob killed him. And then like Rob was in the jail cell and hung himself like Aaron Hernandez or Jeff Epstein or something like that. Like people hang themselves in jail cells. Like it makes sense. Like Freddy was really good at sort of like avoiding suspicion. But I think even in this movie, like at the end of part one, you go, well, the police gotta know about Freddy Krueger because what? A fucking evil bed ate Johnny Depp. After the bed ate Johnny Depp, the police had to know like something's up. And that video of mine has been doing okay lately. I don't know, man. Like everything's slowing down, and probably like other old videos are just getting more love. And it's very cool that you make a video, then like even like 2 years later or something like that, it's still getting a lot of love. And I'm very appreciative, and it's very cool that people are still checking that out. Racist, racist joke. No, they don't have any racist jokes. Kelly Rowland was pretty funny though. She drops a F word too. Him taking control of the high kid reminds me of the kid and took over in Nightmare Part 2. Yeah, oh yeah, Jesse. Yeah, but Jesse was more of like a flamboyant kid and everything. He wasn't really like a stoner. If anything, it was Jay and Silent Bob. That's who that stoner kid reminds me of. Like even if you watch like Never Sleep Again, they actually have Jay go, I remember make that movie. Wait, I wasn't in that movie. I don't know. I bust up laughing every time I see him pop up in that documentary. If you saw it, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so they got the hypnocell, and Freddy actually possesses this guy. So could Freddy? I mean, Freddy could do that like at any time. He never did that in any other movie but this one. But it's very cool. I would like to see him like do some more of that. And even though he's in the real world, it's sort of like the Freddy Krueger voice. He just sort of has that Freddy Krueger look. See right here? Yeah, the guy's just sort of like, did he just like the context of what you're saying is weird, or why do you have like this different sounded voice? He has a pretty cool death too, man. Got chopped in half. Nice. So he did take one for the team. Man, these kids are pretty brave too. Yeah, so now when Jason is in the dream world, he's fucked. He can't do anything. So we're right at the Jason falls asleep phase. Hey, what's up, Jungle Assassin? What's going on, dude? All right, watching Freddy versus Jason, trying to get some commentary for the whole thing. We have Jason Voorhees in the chat. That Freddy Krueger, Pamela Voorhees is pretty convincing too. I like her, man. Like they didn't use the mom enough in part one, or I mean in the reboot, right? I consider that like another part one. I mean, and sometimes like you see Jason's eye, like with Michael Myers, I don't approve of you ever seeing his eyes because it should be like black eyes, like a doll's eye or something. It's supposed to be sort of like empty. And finally, this is the fight we've all been waiting for, you know? Like they were finally on screen together. Like this is just Freddy sort of toying with him because he could kill him at any point, right? Like Freddy was very overpowered in this too, right? But I guess you have to be versus Jason. Like basically, it's almost like him versus Carrie because Carrie could just like whip you around if she wanted to and throw shit at you. But you know what? They probably got to do something like, whoa, what if Jason has dream powers too? Or, Jason isn't afraid of you, so you can't really use your old tricks on him, right? Killed him. Oh, tilted? Oh. I thought you always said killed them. Like, oh, I killed them, not tilted. Well, I got the subtitles on now. Like a movie like this, where I've seen it a whole bunch of times, I always like to go over like um watching it with subtitles just to make sure, like, oh man, I thought he always like killed them, like he was surprised. Yeah, why won't you die? That's pretty good, right? I could be Freddy Krueger. See, I got the hat. All I need is a Freddy Krueger shirt. Or you know what? My pitch for a new Freddy Krueger movie would be a female Freddy Krueger, but I could get that's a whole nother video onto itself. You see, and Jason's afraid of water. I don't know, man. You don't buy it. I didn't like. That's sort of weird. I get you have to go somewhere with it. Like it's sort of making Jason like a sympathetic character because he gets it to a kid, but he becomes a kid whenever he's weak. But also, it's like you're not even supposed to root for Jason either because Jason already killed a whole slew of people already. I have a theory. What if the mental asylum from Halloween and Nightmare are actually connected and could explain the cult and maybe the dream demons? Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that idea. Like people are like Michael Myers is so hot right now. I think it's sort of like Michael Myers doesn't need anybody right now. You know what I'm talking about? Like when Bernie Mac died, the Kings of Comedy went to Kevin Hart, and they went, Kevin Hart, can you join? You want to go on tour with us? And he's like, not really, dudes, because why? Why am I going to join the least successful tour? I don't need you guys to sell out arenas. I'm already selling out arenas. So Michael Myers is so big. I don't. That's why I don't think they could actually do a crossover. Like they had to wait for Freddy versus Jason to cool off even before they got Freddy versus Jason. Like they don't want to share the billing and share the box office. I think that's pretty much like why it had to happen at the right time, right? It's sort of like Godzilla versus Kong. Like together they would like. I'm not even really excited about any Godzilla or King Kong movie like onto themselves. Like I'll watch it, but I'm not hyped for one like how I am for Godzilla versus Kong. Like I go, man, the versus sounds really cool because you don't know what to expect. Like one of them probably live or die, right? Or they'll figure something out. Like this, they seem pretty content on making it almost like a draw. But I would say Jason won, but he won by split decision. Because some people still say that Freddy won, he winked, he's still in control. So I get that too. Hey, Techno Robot, nice to see you. What would you do if there was a movie about the Batman who laughs? Oh man, that's cool. Like, yeah, just more Batman, the better. Like, I love watching his movies. I like watching the animated movies. I still got some of those to catch up on. The van is very cool too. This whole thing about Jason being inside a dream, it's awesome. Because you have to go there with Jason versus Freddy, like because Freddy's in dreams and Jason is like a real world dude. So like two people who could almost face in that realm is like Freddy and Candyman, right? Like they're almost even because of their supernatural powers. You know what I'm talking about? And I would upgrade Candyman to be in the A League now because he did go to direct to video, but or video on demand, but now he's back to theater releases. But it's all COVID, man. Everything's on equal footing now. It's basically if you're marketed a lot or not. I'm sorry, just had to listen to that joke. That was a funny joke too. No one gets that was a pretty good joke. Like, you're not coming? Oh, I can't help it. Freddy Krueger's having sex. Like, that's pretty funny. The jokes in this is underrated too. Like, dude, I hate it when slashers are really trying to be super ultra scary. Like, no one ever says Freddy versus Jason's a scary movie. Like, it's not scary, but it's fun. It's entertaining. It's funny. It has boobs. The kills are awesome. Like, no one ever says it's a scary movie, but it does what a slasher movie should do. And another reason slasher movies have been sort of on the decline too, it's because like practical effects. Like, you need nice practical effects kills. Like, I don't even think they had a lot of CGI kills in this either, but it's probably like the real. I don't know. I probably like this better than even the Friday the 13th like reboot, because I just like the stories of both of them, and I love how they like intersected it. Like, it made perfect sense. And you sort of have the same thing. Like, you have like Jason nightmares. Like, that's awesome. He, like, I don't know. Even in hell, he was having a better time. He wasn't really having like nightmares. So Jason could die, but I think it's almost like Jason's like a vampire. Like, vampires don't die either, right? They sort of just like slumber or something. So Jason more or less slumbers for a bit until something happens and wakes him up. But if he couldn't die, like, I don't know. They need to get more into that. Like, I would like more crossover with all these guys, cuz come on, man, they've been like around for 30 something years. Same thing with like the superheroes and stuff like that. Cross all of them over by now. Like, I think we're even at a point, like, even the Wonder Woman movie, you're like, you know what this movie can use? Fucking Aquaman. You're like, it's just Wonder Woman now. You sort of get let down. Like, if you see like they already learned their lesson. Like, Spider-Man is not even just a Spider-Man movie. It's Spider-Man. You get a little bit of Iron Man. You might see Doctor Strange in there and everything. Dude, Demon Freddy was awesome. Look at that. Oh my god, that was scary. That's almost like the scariest part of this whole movie. Like, Demon Freddy is nothing to mess with. Hey, Mr. Flame Flam, what's going on, dude? It's nice to have some people dropping by. Stream idea: dress up as the character of who you're watching. Example: watching Halloween, dress up as Michael Myers. I would do that, dude. What? I am fucking wearing like a fedora, like fucking Freddy Krueger. So that's halfway like it. Or damn, dude, I have a Jason shirt. Shit. You're right. I should wear my J. Damn it. I was sort of like rushing this, and it's like raining here in California right now. Damn, you're right. Techno. When you're right, you're right. I'll put it on later, but yeah, I should be wearing a Friday the 13th shirt. But thanks, Techno. That's very cool. I'm gonna be honest, the reboot Friday the 13th was literally a porn movie. Yes, and it was awesome. I loved it. Like, I think, yeah, you do have to show boobs, but they were all sort of like perfect boobs. You have to sort of have like maybe like some regular chested girls, right? Like, not everyone has like these double D fake boobs. Like, every single pair of boobs in that movie were like big fake boobs. Like, maybe that was just like director's choice or something like that, right? Like, just show some like maybe some real flabby boobs, right? Hey, what's up, Esther? Who is Freddy? Freddy Krueger, the Dream Demon. Well, if you Wikipedia him, we're watching Freddy Krueger versus Jason Voorhees. It was a movie that came out in 2003. We're about an hour and 16 minutes in. And you should own Freddy versus Jason by now. I actually do want to see a live action Batman Beyond. Dude, Friday Jason, you are not wrong. I think they're in the works for that right now because they're saying Michael Keaton is going to be part of the DCEU in the next like Flash movie. So what does that mean? Old man Bruce Wayne could train his like replacement. That's pretty cool. That's what Batman Beyond is. Ooh, and a reboot Halloween as a hillbilly wrong turn movie. Very cool. Oh, we're right at the part where Freddy versus Jason happens in the real world. Oh, so good. And Freddy's sort of like, oh shit. Oh, what is going on? I was just having fun in my old dreamland, stabbing girls, about to kill this girl. Now I gotta face this big old tall Jason. Look, Freddy's not even that shook, but Jason's gonna whoop that ass. And the soundtrack was so awesome to Freddy versus Jason too. Like it had a lot of metal music in it. It was really good. So of course, like Jason's gotta beat up Freddy like in the real world. Like you're finally like on, in my arena. But it still sort of felt like Freddy almost had a good upper hand in the real world too. Like how much real world experience does Freddy have? Because it's even subjective that Freddy Krueger was in the real world at the end of the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Because think about like Nancy's whole plan was to take Freddy out of the dream, like hold on to him, right? Like that was her plan, but near the end, she was like, "No, this is still one of my dreams." So it's sort of like Freddy Krueger like laid the seeds, and the whole dream was that she pulled Freddy out, but it was still a dream. You know what I'm talking about? So probably Freddy Krueger getting pulled out of his dream, it should be a very rare thing, you know, even though she was able to take out the hat later. But I think it was almost like Freddy made it able so you could take him out of the dream. Like that seems pretty easy. You could just grab Freddy Krueger and wake up at the same time and take him out of the dream. But and they did that super easy in the Nightmare on Elm Street reboot, and I don't know, man. I sort of like that's why I even like Dream Warriors a bit even more because they did use something practical. Like, let's bury his body in hollowed ground and use some holy water. Like, wow, that makes more sense to me. And I don't know, it makes more sense to me than having to take him out of the dream. I don't know why. I just picture Michael breaks down the door behind the two teenagers and Jason Freddy still fight. Maybe. I mean, that'd be cool. Like, you could just add Michael to this mix. I'm pretty sure, man. Like, I think nowadays, like, I love this movie, and I think they could bring a whole bunch of characters now together. Like, they made it work for Avengers Endgame and the Avengers movies, and Marvel has it down, like bouncing so many different characters together and having everybody stay fit, you know, don't lose anything, stay face. What would happen if there was Deadpool versus? Yes, Deadpool needs to be in one of these movies because it's definitely gotta be rated R too. There's always a Freddy versus Wolverine. Yeah, I want to see that too. I want to see a crossover of everything, man, but it's not likely they'll ever get to it. And Godzilla versus Kong has already happened before. Where people are like Alien versus Predator again. I don't think we need that again. I don't think anyone was begging for that rematch. Like, dude, let's Disney owns Star Wars. Have fucking Jedi's versus aliens. Ooh, look, and Freddy Krueger has like kung fu moves. That fool like high kicked him in the face. And Freddy gets a bright idea of let me shoot torpedoes at this guy. I think this is the only part I go, I would prefer anything else. Like maybe he used like a forklift to drive into Jason or some bullshit. Like you could have used anything, but the torpedoes, I don't know about that. And there you go. Jason sort of like dislocates his shoulder, like you're like, wow, Jason's one tough guy. Ooh, and like right here, Jason gets rebar everywhere. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. You think about it, in the Marvel universe, Deadpool is Jason, Wolverine is Freddy. Yeah, you think about that. Or they have this whole like zombie series in Marvel where it's like zombie versions of either the Marvel characters, right? That was good too. Yeah, Freddy's sort of struggling. But it's the real world. Like in the real world, Freddy's definitely at a disadvantage. Because come on, man, Nancy whooped your ass in the real world. Like I just said, the whole thing could have been a dream, but I don't know, man. I could go either way on that too. Like, all right, if that was even sort of real, and when Freddy's in the real world, he's not like super strong. But like Freddy is a bit smaller, so you can have to imagine like if Jason hits you like one good time, he's gonna knock your head off, Freddy. But maybe that's why it's sort of like in pro wrestling and everything. You have to have one guy beat the other guy up pretty badly, but then he makes a comeback and then wins the match. You know what I'm talking about? That's what sort of happened right here with Freddy. Like Jason's getting his stuff in right now, like hitting him with the machete and stuff. But actually, Freddy gets like the upper hand. Like he takes out Jason's eyes, right? He gets the two finger knives and goes, yeah. See, ooh, right there, cut off Jason's fingers. And see, he's like Wolverine, but I think he doesn't grow back like immediately. So now Freddy has the machete and the finger knives, man. Like Freddy can't be fucked with right now. It's sort of like because like Freddy got like the best of Jason for like the real matchup, but I still figure that Jason won. Like Jason got the higher body count, and I think this was their way of like evening stuff out. To be honest, I would like to see Predator versus Jason. It could be the world's dangerous bounty versus the world's dangerous slasher. Oh yeah, I would like that. Dude, and Ash, Alien versus Ash. Dude, all these matchups are pretty good. I love them all. Go to hell. Yeah, Freddy versus Jason. See, I got that graphic. Ooh, so he like punched him inside his rib cage, and I think he's like tearing out his stuff. Ripped his arm off. You see, like Jason is that strong, but I think also Freddy is almost like zombie sort of like if he's taken out into the real world, he's not as like his body doesn't maintain like a regular person either. But Jason is that strong. He'd rip your arm off pretty easy. So both these people pretty much live and they blow up Jason and Freddy. If you watch the documentary too, when they fly up in the air, like this thing did a lot of these like practical stunt effects that they wouldn't even do nowadays. Like they lit two dudes on fire and launched them into a lake. Like that's pretty dangerous and pretty cool. Like I don't know, man. They can't even make a movie like this one anymore. But based off right there, when this movie, like when I was watching this for the first time, I go, it's a draw. It's a fucking draw. You like both of them just got blown up and flew into the lake. If Michael was in there, Freddy would have been stabbed. They lifted up by Freddy while Jason was hit by his machete in Freddy's glove. Yeah, they would have had like three people doing it, like shot, and like a circle of people all like linked up, stabbing each other at that point. I think when this movie came out, I was probably like the most hype I ever was for any movie. I was like, Freddy versus Jason is this shit. I love it. So he took Freddy's own arm and threw it right through Freddy. And then Sora just went, bah, you're stabbed, and then falls back into the lake. That is pretty cool. I like it. So Freddy's own glove did him in, and he gets his head chopped off. So, like that's it, Freddy. You lost. This is the KO punch right here, right? Oh, there you go. That was Freddy losing. That's Freddy Krueger KO. That right there was Freddy losing, everybody. I wish YouTube was around back then. Was it? I think it was. See that's just Jason like shutting his eyes and going to sleep. Like Jason went out on his own. It seemed like he still had fight in him, and he's just like, forget it. So I think from right there is sort of Jason got the last lick, right? Like Freddy was pretty much done after the glove came out of his chest, and then Jason just went, "All right, I'm done." But he's definitely got his head cut off. See, right at the end. That is Jason winning, coming out of the lake. All right, come on now. All right, well, you got it. Having both. All right, here, wait. Let me get over this. Oh, see, that's Jason holding Freddy's head up. See? So Jason wins. He won. Just because you wink don't mean anything. Dude, if you got your ass kicked, but then like the other guy's walking away and you wink, doesn't mean you won the fight. Like, dude, you got your ass wicked. I don't care if you winked. But it's supposed to be symbolic, like, yeah, man, I'm allowing him to think he won. It seems like pretty much like Jason already grew back his shit by then. Cause he was he holding machete? So Jason was holding the machete and the Freddy head. So I think that solves the mystery that Jason actually grew his shit back. Not as he's almost like palming Jason's head. He's not really like I mean, he's palming Freddy's head. He's not like holding on to it, but he's holding on to the machete. I don't know. I think it would have grew back his eyes, but yeah, I think like Jason is almost like Wolverine in that case that he will grow back his stuff. So his fingers are cut off and his eyes are poked out. So he'll eventually grow those back, I think. All right, in the end, I would picture Jason having both Michael and Freddy's head, and you would hear the laughter by Freddy, and then they play the Halloween theme, but not anything the OG original 1978 theme. Yeah, that's right. That's pretty cool. I could definitely see that happening. But then they would set up a movie that you want to see, and then it doesn't happen. You'll be like, man, fuck you. Because at the end of Jason Goes to Hell, that was like 2002. No, not even two. That was like 96 or something like that. And then, then this whole matchup didn't happen till like 2002, 2003. So you're like, man, who knows if that's even going to be in the books for later. Like, if they're going to have a fight, I want to see the fight happen the whole movie. I don't want you to set up a movie that you're not even sure will happen. Like, I think with these comic book movies, they could set up anything because they know for sure that they're definitely going to make another movie. Or in the background, I see Jason carrying Freddy's head and Michael standing in front of the Crystal Lake board and has Freddy's glove. And then you hear the breathing from Michael. Then, yeah. Well, the original plan was to have Pinhead come up and drag both of those guys to hell. So that was actually setting up Freddy versus Jason versus Pinhead. Or if you're in hell, you could be like, fuck it, Michael Myers is in hell too. So is Chucky and everybody. Or you know what was actually an awesome idea? Like what I thought they were almost like doing with Cabin in the Woods. Like it's a ritual sacrifice. Or they have a bunch of boogeymen underground. And then they could have just had the chambers open up and one person could be Freddy, one person could be Jason. It almost seems like that's how they wrote the script to Cabin in the Woods. Like it could have been like, oh man, you see Freddy and Jason, and that's how the movies work. Like they capture boogeymen and put them in those pods to release them whenever they every year they have that ritual, right? Like that makes a lot of sense because even in when they were down in the shafts and the elevators, they had a guy who was like bootleg Pinhead. He had like a ball with saw blades on it, and that's supposed to be like the puzzle box, and instead of a box, it's a ball. And fucking saw blades in his head. You're like, all right, well, who's that saw face guy? Like, no, that's supposed to be Pinhead, but we don't have the rights to Pinhead. But it was like a wink, like, all right, Pinhead's in this movie. So I don't know. They've always done that with a couple other stuff, but I would say I like my last video, Jason versus Michael. Like, I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure that Jason comes out ahead in that fight. Say, look, if you watch the last video, it was Jason versus Michael. And then this one I did Jason versus Freddy. So I don't know, man. Maybe I'll keep up all these verses, but there was actually Freddy versus Jason movie. So that's why I was like, all right, let me watch Freddy versus Jason for this one and keep it going because that video did pretty okay. Or people liked it. But I was mostly like, it's all like hearsay with Jason versus Michael Myers. And Michael Myers is so hot right now, right? You could make, I could make anything. Michael Myers versus Wolverine, and people are like, oh, Michael Myers, oh shit. Like Jason versus Freddy, it's an old movie, and people are like, yeah, that's been happened. Like the matchup that you're always like anticipating, the one that you paint in your head is always going to be better than the actual matchup. Like nothing ever lives up to hype. Maybe that's why Freddy versus Jason happened, and people are sort of like over it already. But dude, I think it was a kick-ass versus movie. It's probably one of the best versus movies you ever get. So I think even right now, like Michael could face anybody, but Michael doesn't need anybody right now. Jason needs Michael more than Michael needs Jason. So like it's almost like saying Mayweather versus Pacquiao. They couldn't figure out who really was the A side and who's the B side. And Pacquiao was sort of like, "Yeah, I'll face anybody. I could make 30 million facing anybody else, rather than risk it. And you could make a lot of money or a whole bunch of fights to make littler money, if that makes any sense. Like that's why these crossovers didn't happen as often. But they were always trying to get Freddy versus Jason, even since the New Blood Jason. Like New Blood Friday the 13th Part 7 was actually trying to be Freddy versus Jason, but they went, all right, well, let's just do Jason versus somebody, Carrie. And they couldn't even get the rights to Carrie. Like, come on, man. Like, what has Carrie done? Like, you can't give me Carrie? Like, they're not doing anything. I think like most of these guys now, they're like, why can't we have a Jason versus Michael Myers? Michael Myers is definitely the A side because he's got a big ass movie out right now. Like, what the fuck you been up to, Jason? You had one video game appearance in one video game in the last like 10 years. Like, I'm alive now. You need me. So definitely if they would do a Michael Myers versus Jason, like I think down to the politics of it, you definitely got to give like probably Michael will be the A side. But you know what? They did that with Spider-Man. If they could put Spider-Man in the Marvel universe, then anything could happen because Sony still owns Spider-Man. Like they bought like a lifetime Spider-Man thing. So Spider-Man's still Sony, but whenever they come out with movies, you're right, like, oh, he's gonna be in Avengers, but you gotta give us a cut of the Avengers. And they do business that way and it worked out. Like, dude, that's what you got to do more. Like cross these people over. I want to see crossovers and like give us these dream matches, man. I like that. I like these matchups in boxing and real life. I can't wait to watch Conor McGregor tomorrow, and then hopefully some dream matches could come out of it. I'm a big fan of. Maybe you'll see Canelo versus Triple G again. That's a dream match that already had happened 2 times, but Triple G probably needs that victory off of that, right? And we just got Tom Brady versus Drew Brees. I want to ask, could Rob Zombie Michael Myers win against human Jason from part 2, 3, 4? Not the zombie Jason? That's a good one, man. All right, so if you watch my video, what I said was Jason versus Michael Myers is Jason wins, man. If you put two of those prime guys against each other, they win. Like Jason wins every time. He's just way too super strong. Zombie Jason could beat anybody on any given day. But does my Rob Zombie's Michael Myers is fucking tall too. So you definitely gotta say Michael Myers. Rob Zombie's Michael Myers is probably like if you tell the tale of the tape too, like Rob Zombie's Michael Myers is like 6'5" or something. Bigger reach, weighs more. And Human Jason was pretty smart and had traps and stuff like that, but I don't know. I would think Rob Zombie Michael Myers wins against Human Jason. But he wasn't even really human. People consider him like human, but I go, when the fuck was he a teenager then? Because he was a little kid and then he sort of morphed into like a being that came out of the lake. I don't think he was always supernatural. But I think the death in part 4 and his resurrection, something happened to wake him up like, nah, dude, you're actually very supernatural. Maybe he had to die for it to like activate or something like that. But yeah, Michael Myers definitely beats human Jason from 2, 3, and 4. Maybe. I don't know, man. Because I say always, Jason was probably always going to beat him. Maybe that sucks, but Jason's just more supernatural. Like Jason doesn't have a social security number or anything. Jason was always, I want to think of him as Jason was like an X-Men maybe. Like maybe he was just born that way. That's why he's sort of like deformed, but it took him to die to realize like that was his first hibernation, right? Cuz he died as a kid. He drowned in the lake, and then when his mom got her head chopped off, he actually resurrected after that. So that was like his first slumber was in the middle of part 1 and part 2. So then you go to 3, he got axed to the head and he was pronounced dead. Hospital people took you away from part 3. So you were dead then too. So that's why people either go like Zombie Jason started at part 6. I would like to even say like Zombie Jason, he's always been supernatural. So Zombie Jason could have even started earlier in my book. So maybe. Okay, how about this? Rob Zombie's Michael versus Freddy versus Jason. Jason. I always say Freddy's almost going to beat most people because Freddy versus like dreams, right? Maybe if you're all in hell. If you're all in hell, that's a level playing field, you know? Like, look, all right, put it on the beginning again just because I guess it went over and then was just answering questions. But they started off while all these guys are in hell. So if you're in hell, no one has dream powers. Nobody is stronger than anybody else. It's all your souls and shit. But I say Michael Myers is very popular right now, but I would say Jason sort of wins, but Freddy, if he gets you in the dream world, then it's done. See, that's why even something like that, like Michael might want to help Jason out to team up against Freddy. You know what I'm talking about? Like I've always loved Not Scary Farm. They always have like a sort of hanging, and I remember back in the day they used to have like they've got like lately they've gone so crazy with it where they were like, oh, it's Donald Trump, it's political and it's all jokes and fun. But man, when I saw that like hanging stuff at Not Scary Farm as a kid, they had Michael and Pinhead and Jason and Chucky, and that was like the theme behind it. Like all these boogeyman faces each other, and it was so awesome and cool that I loved it. And I always hope a movie would sort of do like a version of that, like a battle royal mode with all of them in the same thing. And you know what? They sort of even did that in Ready Player One. Like Ready Player One have all these like intellectual properties. There was fucking Chucky was in that movie, you know? You're like, hey man, can we have Chucky for a little bit? You're supposed to be in the Steven Spielberg sort of dream thing. They're like, yeah, sure. So I wouldn't put it past anybody to put like all these weird matchups together. There's a theory that Jason survived a drowning. Yeah. Oh, they survived a drowning and he actually grew up as the kid and all that. Yeah, but then who raised him? Who raised so why was he a kid at the end of part 1? Unless part 1 is supposed to be like 20 years before. So I don't know because I think they leave that up to interpretation too. Like, was he a boy or was he a boy that died, but came back as a man? I don't know. Who knows? Well, all right. Seems like I'm just talking to Friday Jason, man, but it's cool. I'm going to make some more, hopefully, some more pleasing streams and some more good versus matchups, more metaphorically. And maybe Freddy versus somebody would else would be cool. I always just think like Jason versus somebody would be pretty cool too. So Jason versus anybody else, man. Let's get crazy with it. Wolverine, right? I always say it should be like Wolverine versus like a xenomorph. That would be cool. That's my favorite matchup that could possibly happen. I say that every week, but it's true, man. You guys like Fox owns all these people, so that's a plausible matchup. It's very plausible. You could have an alien versus Iron Man, or you could have the Star Wars Jedi versus Predator, right? You can do that shit. They own all that stuff, but they go, well, we're not in that's a kid property versus a slasher thing, you know, or not even like a Predator. It's all science fiction. I mean, fuck it. They could do that. So I don't know. They own all this stuff and it's totally possible. And that's more of like a Deadpool thing. Or what about a Batman versus Michael Myers versus Dark Knight? Well, oh, isn't Batman the Dark Knight versus the Boogeyman, the wrestler Boogeyman? The Boogeyman wrestler? Or I mean, Boogeyman is Michael Myers as the shape. I don't know. Batman's faced Alien and Batman has faced Predator, I think, in comic books, like a one off. Like, they need to explore more of these, like, one offs. Like Joker one off, like Joaquin Phoenix doing the whole origin story. Like, they figured out, whoa, that works and it did really well and he won an Oscar. Like, dude, you don't have to make like a whole Marvel universe because Marvel's done that. And Marvel, I don't know, man. After Avengers Endgame, like they all seem to blend together now. Like even the Spider-Man with Jake Gyllenhaal, I sort of like, but you're like, dude, all you guys are just comedies now. Like even works better as a comedy than like a superhero like comic book film. Like I think the Joker came really hard with it. The Joker's the best comic book movie to come out in forever. See, that's why I got a poster of that behind me. So, yeah. Yeah, sorry, but I'm the only person to talk to you. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I put, at first, I changed the theme of this. I was going to talk like, I've got like Godzilla and stuff. And then I think people like, I don't know. I was going to talk more about like, hey, man, Godzilla versus Kong. And my whole thing was that it was going to be Freddy versus Jason. And then like, I think they're doing Godzilla versus Kong like one will fall. Like they're actually making sure, like, hey man, we're not gonna do the Freddy versus Jason thing. Like maybe somebody wins, maybe it's a subjective. One person will win, right? Like there must be a winner. Like that's what's really selling this. That really hyped me up more than anything because you go, yeah, in versus movies, it's sort of like they're both like win in the end. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Or it's a draw. But yeah, I don't mind it, as long as you're talking, that's cool. I'm trying to do it just for that one guy in the crowd, right? Like almost famous. I don't care. It's really cool and I appreciate you as a subscriber, and it's really cool that we can chat like this too. It's very fun. I've got one. Michael versus Scream. Michael all day. Scream is just even the Scream 4 pairing. You gotta say which Screams too. Like Billy and Stu is the best sort of combination because they're both like athletes. That's why I think Billy and Stu were the best like Scream phase duo because they can actually fucking kill you. Scream 2 was Mickey. Mickey was a problem, but Mickey could also like he was a little bit athletic, but I pretty much like I bet like Stu almost had a figure like he could have been like on a good like wrestling team or a basketball player or something. He was tall, and Billy, so it's like they were pretty athletic. It felt like to me like that's why I go like they were. That's why they need to do like Scream 5 needs to be like student athletes. Like whoa, something like this dude like Scream face Ghostface can run fucking fast. Like this kid's on track or something like that. That's what's scary about it. Because what part two is Mickey and the mom, and I go like, what? Billy's mom didn't fucking kill nobody. You would know a ghost face was like 5 feet tall. And then at the end, Scream 4, it had Rory McCulkin and the Rooney Mara or something like that. Right? No, it was the Rooney. No, Emma Roberts. Yeah, I always mix those two up. Emma Roberts and fucking Rory McCulkin were the Ghostface. Like, are you kidding? You don't know his Ghostface is only like 5'3"? A 5'3" ghost face comes at me. Oh, fuck you up. Love your videos. Thanks, Jason. I love your movies too. Jason's are one of my favorite slasher movies too. Well, thanks. I know you're not really Jason, but it's nice to pretend. It's like Santa Claus is still real. Sorry, or other stuff. And I mean that all the ghost faces from all the screens versus Michael. Fuck, they all got team up versus Michael at once. Oh man, that's a good matchup. That is, oh wait, how many screams? There's Billy, Stu, Mickey, Billy's mom, the brother from part 3, and Emma Roberts and the fucking Roy McCulkin. That's 7 ghost faces. So 7 ghost faces. Oh, dude, if you count the TV shows, I don't even know who the fucking killers in the TV shows. I never finished them. But 7 ghost faces versus Michael. Michael comes out on top. Sorry to say. And any version of Michael, man. Like I'm pretty sure because he's a bit supernatural. He's the shape. He's the boogeyman. They all maybe if they all gang up, they could probably take him down. Because shit, dude, if you think about Lori, fucking took him down, and she's just a girl. She's a strong girl. She's very resourceful, like Sarah Connor in 2018. But yeah, I don't know, dude. I think Michael would win. Still, Michael. You gotta go with at least the hint of supernatural, but those numbers might get at you. Damn, that's a good question. I heard they might bring back Stu back in Scream 5. Dude, I would love it. They actually had Matthew Lillard like tweeted back at somebody asked them something like, "Hey man, it's just a TV that crushed my head. I think I could have lived." So ever since then, people have been like super hyped, like, dude, bring Stu back. That'd be super cool. But I don't know. And it depends where they're going with it. Because we don't even know what direction they're taking Scream 5. Here, let me see. I think I even got like a Scream 5 thing. See? Right here. Look. That looks like Stu's house. That is Stu's house background. They're doing something with Stu, right? It's sort of weird that they're back at his house. They didn't go back to his house in part 2, part 3, part 4, and now all of a sudden they seem like they're in front of Stu's house again. I definitely think Stu will probably be back in Scream 5 in some capacity, or Stu's house, or Stu as a character. Or fuck it, man, you could do this de-aging stuff. I don't know what you're gonna do, but I'm super excited about Scream 5. Like, I think that's my most anticipated movie of 2021. No, it's 2022 so far. It would probably almost be number one. It would be probably number one in 2021 if it was coming out then, but it's coming out in January of 2022. So, and I think they also push the Batman back to 2022. So I was even gonna go over some like news from the other franchises, like even some Halloween, like Halloween Kills. I heard. Now this is still at the rumor phase that they're doing like no what's the last James Bond movie? Whatever the fuck. No Time to Die or something like that. That James Bond movie is going to October 8th or something like that. So it'd be like 1 week away from Halloween Kills. So Halloween Kills would probably get scared and move up in schedule to avoid direct competing with the James Bond movie. But dude, like I don't know, man. I think even with these vaccines and stuff, and some people won't get them, some people will. Who knows how effective they'll be in the long run? No one knows how the virus might mutate. I'm done with like let's like any movie that says it's coming out straight to theaters. I don't know if you can even trust it anymore, dude. You know? Like I've given up hope on that front. And not just any Michael Myers, but Michael from Halloween 6. Ooh, Halloween 6 Michael versus all those fools. Yeah, you gotta go, Michael. You gotta go, Michael. Dude, he was pretty strong in just 2018. I don't know, man. Yeah, it's pretty strong. Which movie do you think will be better, Halloween Ends or Scream 5? Because Halloween Kills is coming out in 2021. You know what, dude? I don't know, man, but it's the same team who makes Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. And I really love Halloween 2018. I love the shit out of it. And it's the same team who's really doing all three of them. It could be the best trilogy. Cause you know what? Not there's no slasher trilogy that like makes one, two, and three like good. Like no three in succession. Like Halloween 1 and 2 was good, but 3 he wasn't even fucking in it. So that's out. And then it was 4 was good, and then 5 wasn't. And I think 6 was good, and maybe H2O, but then Resurrection wasn't good. So they couldn't pull off like 3 together, except Freddy Krueger. I think part 1, part 2, part 3, not even like 4. 4 to a certain, uh, you know, 4 is good too. So, but like 1, 2, and 3 are solid. That's probably the best trilogy of slasher movies that you could get out there. I think anybody who says like, "Oh, what's the best trilogy?" And I hope this Halloween does it, man. I hope Halloween 2018, Halloween Ends, and Halloween Kills. Even though it would be like considered like 4 movies in a row because it's like a sequel to the first one, but I don't know, man. But Halloween Ends or Scream 5, because they're both coming out in 2021. I don't know, because I don't think anyone thinks like Halloween Ends will end it. And they're sort of filming it sort of like later on. So maybe they'll get more time to really like fine tune it. But I guess we'll see. To be honest, you got me thinking 2018 Michael Myers versus Halloween. He's going to start facing himself now. Holy shit. I don't know if he's got to face himself. If he's got to face himself, Halloween 6 probably beats 2018. Because he was just stronger, dude. Like, dude, you got to judge him by the kills that he had in Halloween 6. Because you forget, some of those kills were very strong. He shoved the dude's head right into a gate until he fell through. That's pretty strong. So, yeah, that Michael Myers beats everybody. I don't know. But even though that Michael Myers still doesn't beat part 6 Jason. All right, I think I'm wrapping up here, Friday, Jason. Yeah, if anybody else got any questions or anything, but it's been really fun. Thanks for everybody who ever came through. I think at one point we had like 8 people. It peaked really at like 8 people, and then a couple people started falling off real quick, and I'm like, oh well. Like Freddy versus Jason, that's old. Talk about something new, motherfucker. We'll do some new shit. I did because I was also like, what if I did a different sort of like new movie watch along? Like I was gonna do one for Wonder Woman, but I think that's already going to leave. Like maybe that could be something. But there's no like new horror movie to really like stream because I just recently watched Possessor and I was like, let me do a watch along with that or a video, but I don't know. I didn't really like it. Maybe it's like a talking format would be better for that. Or Train to Busan part 2 Peninsula. I was like, oh man, I could totally do that. And I rented that movie. It was like $1, but I didn't like it that much either. So you go like, there's reason why these were like video on demand ones or something. But I always like doing this watch along thing. But it's like I love these movies, but you know, some people want you to talk about more recent and current stuff. Like that's how my channel even got more popular, man. If I was just sticking with what I'm talking about now, COVID fucked me over, dude. I was doing pretty good. I was talking about new movies, and there's always hype. Like we would already be like, oh man, I would have had Candyman video. Would have fucking did crazy for me. Halloween Kills. I would already be making theory videos about how well like Halloween Kills and a kill count for that, and all this other stuff. Oh man. Well, whenever it can't last forever. And I think all the YouTubers and different stuff are stronger for it to keep on doing it during this. Hey, oh, any chances can you do a watch along for Halloween? I have Friday, Jason. I did that about 2 months ago. Two months ago, I did Halloween '78, and I did because I did like a Halloween kill. I called it kill count theories, even though it's just theories, because kill count gets a lot more views and SEO. So that's why I probably got to lean into. I got to do more like recent up to date kill counts. Those always did well. Dude, Hereditary was awesome. Thanks, Vaughn. Oh man, I love Hereditary. If I watch along Hereditary, will people tune in? I mean, the shit's on Prime. Maybe people were like Freddy versus Jason. I don't own that shit. I'm not gonna. It's on. Oh shit! I should have mentioned. I should put in the fucking title that it was on HBO Max. It's on HBO Max right now, so you could go back and watch it along the whole thing. Bye, man. Keep up the awesome videos. Thanks, Friday, Jason. Tell me what you wanted videos to say, because I'm always like, oh man, because I had even other stuff like, oh man, am I going to make more theory videos and stuff? Like, I did the most anticipated movies, and I thought that was cool. Or look, Bernie's actually in The Shining. What? Right? I could do a whole live stream just with Bernie memes. I love all these Bernie memes that came up. But let's see. Or I was actually going to talk about oh, didn't I upload it? I was going to talk about that movie Spiral. There's see like this. I was going to go like, oh well, maybe I could still do that. That's a later stream probably. Maybe no one's just showed up for Freddy versus Jason or the first one. I don't know. Because Spiral looks very cool, and it seems like they're going to follow like that's the marking of the thing. Because what it was like that Jigsaw puppet, like the Billy the puppet for Jigsaw. You always have that spiral on his cheek, but this whole thing's leaning into Spiral. I was going to talk about that. Maybe break down another trailer for it or something. I don't know, or wait for that to come out. Or I was like, see, look at this Ghostbusters. Even though it's horror movie adjacent Ghostbusters, right? Like that's your first thing you showed your kids to like warm them up to like scary movies. I really love Ghostbusters because of that. I was like, oh, it's almost like a horror comedy almost. Even though it's like a family movie and it's more like those lines, it's still like it could be called like horror comedy adjacent. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Spiral. I know. I would like to. Maybe I was even going like this weekend knock out a couple of videos about different stuff. Like, dude, let me just make up some theories about Spiral. Fuck it. Cause I got like 13, 14 videos about Michael Myers and all those theories, and I'm mostly right, but man, dude, I've run out of theories. We've waited for it for so long, and I'll really just wait for a trailer to come out with some more like Halloween Kills theories. But I was right. I made a whole theory about that's a Halligan bar in his fucking hand, and that's what the new pictures show. But yeah, I wanted to even make videos about that because I've done like all the Halloween kills. I've already exhausted. Like, hey man, firefighter's on the scene. He broke out with a Halligan bar. I don't know what else to theorize until a trailer drops. Cannibal Holocaust for real? I guess maybe if you watch it, maybe I'll come. or I'll make it. Yeah, I'll if I build it, they will come, right? Cannibal Holocaust, maybe. But I think people want like more recent like horror movies or something. I don't know. I was always like, that was the thing behind like most of my kill counts. I was like, well, it came out this weekend. It's very popular. Let me at least like count the kills out, and they spoil everything in the trailer. So if I'm creative enough, I could cut up the trailer and count all that stuff down. But I still like doing that. Not too hardcore. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like Cannibal Holocaust, but it like I thought Freddy versus Jason, like, all right, this is gonna work. Everyone's gonna love this. But we'll see. I don't know. We'll see the analytics afterwards. But I think anything Michael Myers, man. I could just watch another Michael Myers movie. To me, that would do well. Yeah. So, all right. Thanks everybody for dropping by. Yeah, it was really fun watching Freddy versus Jason. I'm trying to come up with some more videos during this weekend, like some hype videos and maybe some reviews. And I don't know, I'm just looking forward to all these new videos that I can bring out to everybody. And hopefully they're well received, and hopefully I get my channel right on track like pre-COVID times. But thanks for everybody for dropping by, and catch you dudes later. Later, dudes.